Hi. Yes, good morning, everybody. Great to see you all. Love to be here. Yeah, just like Priya said, if you have any questions, this is definitely interactive. So either interrupt me, put it in the chat, put your little hand up, whatever. Let's have it interactive. So any questions that you have that are related specifically to your business, I'd love to address those specifically. So yeah, so this is me. I have a marketing agency here in Yorkton, specializing in website development and generating traffic to those websites for conversion. So yeah, let's just get into it here. Okay, so social media is one of the best ways to connect with people who already love your brand. It's also important for reaching those who haven't heard of your business yet. Any social media marketing approach will inevitably involve eye-catching visuals to stop users dead in their tracks. By creating high-quality, compelling graphics, you're able to capture everyone's attention. Pair that with storytelling captions, and you'll gain followers because of the one post. The smartest brands partner with graphic designers to get the best visuals for all your needs, from flyers, billboard ads, brochures, and web graphics. So let's dive in. So steps for creating business with social media. Narrow down your target audience. Your efforts and content should be geared towards people who may be interested in your brand. It's important to be specific without limiting yourself to potential markets. So start by analyzing your current and past audience. Identify the goals. So what do you hope to use your social media platforms to do? Whether it's to increase sales, raise brand awareness, or improve public opinion, it is important to create a goal. Goals must be smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Be sure to take the time to evaluate whether you have met your goals every month. Create a strategy. Creating an effective strategy requires ample research on the part of the business or brand. An effective strategy contains your goals, connects your goals with your target audience. To do this, it's imperative to understand your target audience. Recognize what is appealing and create an overarching method for implementing it into all the platforms you pursue. In addition, gather the resources you need in order to create the content that appeals to that target audience. So you can visualize talking to one specific person, narrowing down your target audience as specifically as you can. And then when you're writing your content, visualize and pretend like you're talking to that person specifically, like one person. The more specific you can be, the better. So utilize social media optimization. Social media optimization is the use of keywords to naturally attract potential customers to your profile and content. It starts with utilizing your page to include your business or brand information. If you're representing a local storefront business, it's important to include your address and contact information. In addition, if you're a brand or an influencer, you should include the city that you're in and use keywords within the bio that can be used broadly to identify your business. So follow a posting schedule. It's important to post regularly. Your social media platform should be consistent and representative of a continuous conversation with your customers. You can use your page to show the public what's going on behind the scenes of a production, or you can use it to display new products, and make sure you're doing it frequently. Every platform has a different norm for what is seen as normal quantity to post. So, but post high quality content. When it comes to social media, more is not necessarily better. In this case, quality is more important than quantity. So thoughtful, unique posts, whether it's images, videos, or text, are better recognized and appreciated by customers. Consider incorporating humor and other qualities into your content that help distinguish it from other brands. Some simple steps to ensure your customers are never ignored. You can hire a dedicated social media management or continuously monitor social media channels using tools that will bring your social media channels to one place. You can make some funny advertisements and tackle both positive and negative inquiries and feedback, respectively, and with professionalism. Yeah, so high quality content. Right now, video is considered the highest quality of content on your social media platforms. So the more you can use video, the better. You can also keep in mind that when people are on social media, what their mindset is like. When you're in social media, scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, any of them, you're kind of, you are in a, you're in a social mindset. So you're not thinking necessarily about shopping. So being social in a social environment is important to keep in mind, that you're considering the mindset that the people are in that you're talking to specifically. You can think of social media as more of the handshake in the introduction to your brand, like that early step of getting to know you, more so than like the hard sell. Take advantage of your analytics. Engagement is the measure used for social media platforms to identify how the content and pages are being interacted with. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn all allow you to observe how many people have visited your page. In addition, Facebook and Instagram allow you to use business page functions to see the demographics of your viewers. You'll learn how many people are discovering your page from posts. This will help you gear your content towards the right audience, broadening your social media presence. Data points can help treat social media less like a guessing game and more like a science. It is important to remember that social media is an aesthetic appearance, so videos and images are typically more inviting to viewers and spike more engagement. Using inspiring or distinctive imagery in your content and pages will intrigue your users. In addition, it'll definitely effectively expand your social media presence. Social media influencers are another important part that you can add to your strategy. Word of mouth is a vital marketing tactic in 2021. Since more and more people are using social media, more feedback, comments, or referrals will circulate online. One way to create buzz in any social media platform is through influencer marketing. Influencers who have a huge following base will create more marketing mileage for your brand. And although you need to pay for social media influencers, some of the starting out influencers who have like 10,000 or so followers are quite cost effective because they definitely are wanting to do that kind of work, and this is something that they're working for. So they're willing to do the work for like almost no fee because they want to get out there into the industry of becoming an influencer. And those type of influencers have really good target audiences. Their audiences are very specific and niche minded. So that is definitely something to keep in mind as like a good strategy. So focus on helping over selling. So although social selling is indeed on the rise, rarely should your social media presence be about the hard sell. Like I said, think about social media as the handshake of the audience, introduction to your brand. So sure, if you're an e-commerce, it makes sense to push some offers and deals to your followers, but what's more important is answering the questions of your followers, whether through replies or content marketing. Anybody have any questions so far? Not yet.
Kelsey, I have one question.
Sure.
So you look at an influencer, and you said they have typically a very narrow audience. So, for example, could you find an influencer that's so narrow that, say, they're only based in like Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and of a certain demographic, or is it generally like people who have a national or more global reach?
No, it can definitely be local people. For those types of, to find somebody like that though, I would encourage you to just go onto the platform and see somebody that might fit your demographic, who's maybe naturally already posting about what your business is about, what business is yours about.
Financial planning, investments, things like that.
Planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody maybe that's like kind of in that industry, or maybe they're like a student in that type of education. And so then they would just naturally have people around them who have similar interests to them. and maybe they're not already, like, you can find influencers through databases where they sign up to be an influencer, but oftentimes people haven't signed up if they're like smaller, haven't really thought about it, or don't really know. But if you can just find somebody who just fits into that mold that you're thinking of, that like happens to be a student or happens to be in the right demographic of the type of people that you're targeting, you could just talk to them and just like suggest and offer them, make them an offer, and like there's a pretty good chance that they would go along with it. Yeah.
What would be a typical fee that like an influencer would charge to do something? Like you said,
Well,
depending, they might be happy for the exposure, but like what would they normally be expected to be paid?
yeah, so it depends. Usually influencers are paid on a sliding scale of how many followers they have. So it's like how many followers they have and like a percentage of the engagement. So you can find like pricing models online for how influencers are paid. It's like some of them are paid depending on engagement. So say they'll get paid like $2 per like 100 likes on the posts that they post for you or something like that. And so it kind of, but like what maybe for somebody who is just starting out, it might be better to just have like just an agreement of say like $20 to post a post that refers to your business or something like that. And just like come up with something that you would both be happy with and see how it goes from there. Sometimes you can even do like exchange of services, offer them free services in your business in exchange for weekly posting or something like that, if it worked for you, and like different things like that. Like when they're not in the influencer game officially, there can be pretty flexible of like what's like kind of a custom deal that would be most appealing in their specific situation. But yeah, like when it comes to like bigger influencers, it's usually a percentage based on how much they sell by giving them a referral code, like 15% off by using Kelsey 15 in the promo code thing, or and then they would get a percentage of sales. Or oftentimes it's like, yeah, depending on engagement, how many likes, shares, and comments you get on that post. So it would mean that they would have to have the quality of post would have to be better.
Okay, thanks.
It encourages them to make good quality posts. But for influencers who've never done it before, they don't really know. So it'd be hard to make that negotiation as like a new influencer, but that might be like the best people to do it with because they would have such the specific target audience.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions so far on this note? Okay, well, if you think of something. Okay, so choosing social media platforms for your business. There are three biggest things you should keep in mind when choosing which platform to use. Choose platforms where your audience is located. Choose the platform that is specific to your content type, and limit the number of social media platforms you choose to be on. So I'll go into a little more detail on those three. So choosing social media platforms where your audience is located. So in order to choose the best social media platform for your business, you need to understand your customers again. Specifically, you need to understand who they are and how they spend their time online. So ask yourself, what social media platform are they using? Why are they using that platform? And how do they prefer to receive their information about your products and services? The more you understand about your customers, the better you can select the best social media platform to reach or engage them. So macro content is a big picture or long form content. The three different types of macro content would include video, audio, and written content. So therefore, if you have macro content, the best social media platform is to publish that content on YouTube for video content, Apple Podcasts for audio, and WordPress for long form blog content. So micro content, on the other hand, is short form, easy to digest content. So think micro content like pictures you find on Instagram, feeds while you're scrolling, or short witty tweets on Twitter. So you can also use a pairing of these. So using micro content like an Instagram post to generate traffic towards your WordPress website where your blog is. So having the majority of your content on your website is really important because you own the leverage on your website. Growing an email list and your website following is the most beneficial in the long term, and using social media to generate traffic towards your website. It's because social media platforms change over time. Different things can happen with the rules and regulations within those social media platforms. And by having all of your leverage built on a website that you own, that will live on forever. And that's like an asset for your business. If you ever were to sell your business, you can sell the email list and the website along with it. However, Instagram following and Facebook following isn't the same when it comes to selling a business. It doesn't count the same way that a website and an email list would. So like my point was that using your social media, like your Instagram feeds and your Twitter posts, to generate traffic towards your website. So if you had a blog post on your website, you can make a number of posts on your social media about your blog post with like little portions of it and linking towards your website. So they would read that little bit and be like, huh, that's kind of interesting, and click the link and end up as traffic on your website. Yes. Okay, so limit the number of social media platforms you choose to be on. So it's not necessary to be on every platform in the world. Facebook has 2 billion users and Instagram has 1 billion. So if you can do just one of these platforms, but really well, you can have astronomical business results. So in most cases, you need to set aside some money to promote your content. In addition, you'll need to review the analytics to determine if your content is effective or not. So in short, as a small business with a limited budget, put all of your eggs into 1 or 2 baskets maximum to start, then consider expanding to other channels. So I'll go into a little bit of detail about each of the platforms more specifically. So the first one is Facebook. Facebook is not the newest or the coolest social media platform, but the fact is that it's the largest platform, and by far, in terms of users. It has over 2 billion monthly active users. It's huge. So this is just some examples of how many people you could reach for free. Like these are organic posts, and just like how many people in the area in Yorkton that you can reach just by having one post. So it's definitely effective in reaching people. And yeah, I just put these for examples that, like, yeah, it's definitely worth, because there's people actively every day on your social media. So 3/4 of Facebook users visit the site on a daily basis. Half of Facebook users visit several times a day. So what makes Facebook one of the best social media platforms for business is its targeted digital advertising platform. With Facebook ads, you're able to target those who are likely willing to and ready to purchase your product or services. This ensures that your business gets your ad content in front of the right users at the right time. So another reason why Facebook is one of the best social media platforms for your business is their e-commerce integrations. Facebook makes it easy for users to purchase from your company through the social media platform. Making a purchase is easy by clicking the one-click button. Now that Facebook is allowing brands to interact with customers through the Facebook Messenger, you can also provide shipping updates and other order notifications through the Facebook platform as well. Yeah, the targeting in the Facebook ad manager is very specific. Like you can target down to, like, say for a job posting, if you were looking for a person for a job posting that was like pretty specific, like, so you could run an ad for your job posting targeting people in the certain area, say Saskatchewan, or even in your town, and then you could target based on past job titles. So you could, so if you wanted somebody like an insurance advisor in Yorkton or area, you could target people who have past job titles in similar insurance industry, and then the ad would serve only to them. So then it's definitely cost effective as far as not wasting any money serving the ad to people who are completely not qualified, but also like super specific that if they wanted to, like whether they're looking for a job or not, it doesn't specifically target down to like whether or not they are currently job searching, but at least being in front of people who are actually in the right industry is very specific. Very specific. You can get the amount of information that Facebook collects there's a lot, so you can target down all of that information really, really small. And there is also it's called the Facebook ad library. If you just put into Google the ad library, you can search any business page on Facebook and see what ads they're running for their business. So if you're in an industry like the financial planning, maybe you take one of the really big financial planning businesses pages and look and search them, and then you can see all the different ads that those pages are running. And that's just a good idea to see, to maybe help you get in a direction of what type of ads you may want to run. Okay, so Instagram is another platform that feels like a non-negotiable. Maybe because it's owned by Facebook, or maybe because it has another 1 billion users. So determine if Instagram is one of the best social media platforms for your business. Just look at the demographics. If you're targeting a younger demographic, Instagram will be great for you. 72% of all teenagers use Instagram, and 67% of all young adults under the age of 30 use Instagram. So only 43% of people with college degrees use Instagram, and 42% of high income earners use Instagram on a daily basis. So Instagram is a great platform to reach customers at large, but it may not contain the most sophisticated audience for specific industries, like engineering or IT, for example. So one of the best benefits of Instagram is that it allows you to tell your brand story with a unique and engaging visual content. Unlike other social media platforms, Instagram is heavily focused on visuals, both images and video. Like Facebook, Instagram allows you to message users directly, and this can be a great tool for customer service. They can directly message you through Instagram, which allows you to answer questions and address concerns instantly. So on to LinkedIn. LinkedIn got its start as a business and employment-based social media platform. It's full of professionals across a wide spectrum of industries, especially B2B companies. LinkedIn currently boasts over 300 million users active on a monthly basis. So in terms of audience size, it's 4 times smaller than Facebook and 2 times smaller than Instagram. However, this fact is actually correlated with a major strength behind LinkedIn because of its newsfeed. Because LinkedIn's newsfeed is not as competitive as the other giants like Facebook and Instagram, businesses are able to reach more of their connections and followers without paying for the advertisements. So for context, because Facebook and Instagram news feeds are so crowded, they rely on specific algorithms and rules to determine if they'll actually show your content to your followers. And LinkedIn is that it's not as stingy with its news feed, not yet anyways. So which provides businesses and professionals an opportunity to build massive awareness and engagement on their platform without having to pay for it. LinkedIn, or now regarding LinkedIn's demographic. Here are some noteworthy things. LinkedIn is mostly used by professionals between the ages of 30 and 49. However, about a quarter of the professionals above the age of 18 to 29, which I'd really say is like 22 to 29, use LinkedIn, as well as another quarter of people between the ages of 50 and 64 use LinkedIn on a daily basis. So as mentioned earlier, LinkedIn does have a high income audience. About half of the people making over $75,000 per year use LinkedIn on a regular basis. So in addition, about half of the people with college degrees use LinkedIn on a regular basis and probably searching for their next job opportunity or seeking to consume professional content. So making content ideal for the situation that you're in. When people ask me about LinkedIn and what type of content should I make for my LinkedIn, I often like draw this imaginary situation of like, imagine if you're at like a chamber, like a local chamber of commerce, like business lunch or one of their dinners or whatever. And you're talking to other business people and you're talking about your business or they're asking questions. And it's just like it's like a social business networking. So when you're in those type of situations, what's the things that you normally talk about? What's the questions that people usually ask you? And like, what's the interesting things to talk about in the situation when you're surrounded by other business people in a social atmosphere? That's the type of content that you want to post on LinkedIn. No stuff about your cats, that's what I mean. So Twitter, with an average about 330 million active users worldwide, this channel is yet another one of the best social media platforms. Twitter is a real-time social media platform. It's like sending text messages to the whole world. In terms of age, Twitter is the biggest demographic, consists of people between 18 and 29. 38% of people in their category actively use Twitter, and surprisingly, 32% of teenagers use Twitter as well. You can also find about 26% of its users between 30 and 49. In terms of income and education, Twitter is not on the highest of our list here. Only 32% of high earners use Twitter regularly, and 32% with college degrees use Twitter regularly. So Pinterest. Pinterest is a great social media platform with major search engine capabilities. Most people use Pinterest to find inspirational or helpful content. For example, if you want to try a new cooking recipe, you would jump to Pinterest to find the food you're interested in cooking. While this is just an specific example, it's really how most people use Pinterest. Pinterest is full of home decor, fashion, food, and shopping. Pinterest has over 332 million active followers. And here's a new stat that hasn't been talked about much on gender. Pinterest is mostly used by women. In fact, there are 3 times more women on Pinterest than men. This is backed by high income profile that Pinterest has. 42% of people with high incomes use Pinterest on a regular basis. And 38% of people with college degrees use Pinterest as well. So if your business is primarily targeting customers, especially women, then Pinterest is a hard platform to avoid. So last but not least, YouTube. YouTube is arguably the best social media platform that exists. For one, over 1.9 billion people use YouTube on a regular basis. This puts YouTube above Instagram and most eye to eye with Facebook in terms of usage. But not only is YouTube widely used, but it's also the second largest search engine behind no one other than Google. So not only do you have the ability to search a broad audience, but you are also able to reach people searching for you. If we add all of these to the simple fact that video is the most preferred type of media amongst customers, then YouTube becomes even harder to avoid. In terms of age, people of all ages use YouTube. 85% of teenagers and 38% of people over the age of 65. So people of all ages use YouTube. In terms of income, YouTube is highly used by high income individuals. 83% of people earning over $75,000 a year use YouTube regularly. The same is true for education. 80% of people with college degrees use YouTube. So in terms of benefits of YouTube, it's arguably the best social media platform for businesses. However, again, there's a lot of work that goes involved in the process of producing video for video in order to be successful. Yeah, so that's the last one. So so after this presentation, if you are interested in receiving a complimentary snapshot report for your business, which is basically just an overall and like analysis of how your business is performing online in the 6 different categories, you can head to my website, growthmediastrategy.ca/snapshot report, and sign up for a free report there. And yeah, if you would please support my small business, leaving me a review on Google, I would very much appreciate that. And now we'll go back into the questions. Does anybody have anything? Do you want to talk about your business specifically? Do you need a specific example of something? Any feedback? Whatever.
What can a person expect to pay? Like, I'm just thinking about my demographic, and I think the 2 best platforms that I'm currently allowed to use by my employer are Facebook and LinkedIn.
Okay.
Twitter, by the look of it, is not. Like, my target market is kind of 50 to 70-year-olds, kind of toward pre-planning for retirement or already retired with investment assets. So, like, if I was to engage on Facebook, would it be enough to create engaging content, or do you just get that much more of a lift if you promote your ad using one of the, like the targeted ads that you can do? And what would that typically cost if we're focused mainly within, like, say, 100 miles of Yorkton?
Yeah, it's definitely worth it to use the paid ads. You don't need to have a big ad budget for it. Even if you at $1 a day strategy, it still makes big difference. By being able to give your post just that little bit of boost, it'll just start the engagement that much further. Just posting organically on Facebook, because of the competitiveness of the feed, you'll notice if you look at your analytics, you'll notice that lots of them, depending on the size of your following, but like you'll probably only get like 100, couple hundred people who even see your post, never mind actually engaging in it. By adding some budget behind each of the posts, it will make a big difference. Like even video, especially, at least, because the video views, and when you sponsor video views, it's about 2 cents a view for a video view. So it's like, it's so like cost effective to be able to do that. And it just like starts that avalanche of people being able to see it. So then the more people engage at the start, like by boosting it right at the start for a few days, then you can let it kind of organically go. But like if you had a budget of like $200 or $300 or $500 a month, that's like lots to get lots of value out of that.
How important is it to have subtitle on video? Like, when people are looking at it, like, are they looking for words if they're not looking with their video turned on? Like, how does that, or their audio turned on, I mean?
Yeah, having captions is super important. Lots of times people listen on silence, like without their volume turned up for different reasons. And the difference in the video views of videos with captions and not captions is huge. There are tools online that will do your captions for you and make it super easy. What is that one called? Like, I'm trying to think of what is the one called that I use. Let's grab it here quickly. I think it's called like Videos. Zubtitle, Zubtitle. It's free and super good, like, and easy, and like they make, and you can do a bunch of different stuff with your videos on that. But yeah, having something in place to make it easy, to have, it's definitely worth having the captions for sure. Yeah. And you guys are going to be using LinkedIn too, of course, right? That's definitely seems
LinkedIn.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. And getting your posts for LinkedIn, getting your posts put on, getting your posts put on during business hours. People on LinkedIn are usually on LinkedIn like during business hours. Often it's like one of the only social media platforms that you're allowed to use while you're at work. And so like posting on LinkedIn at like 7 in the morning or like 8 in the morning, those type of times works really well. Whereas Facebook, you kind of want to post in the afternoon, like 3 o'clock when people are getting tired at work. I'll put that in the chat. I see your comment there. Subtitle. Yeah, I put the link to Subtitle in the chat there for anybody who's looking for that.
Are there tools you can suggest for creating like the little visuals, like, you know, how when you see memes and different things like that, like if you want to create like a graphic or something like that, like I've heard of a site called Canva. Are you familiar with that, or do you have others you would suggest?
Yep, Canva works great. Crello is another one very similar to Canva. Canva and Crello are really the best ones. And then like, especially if you're gonna like upgrade one to like a professional level, like the paid version, Canva is great because you can do little animations too with it, and videos can make little video animations. I'll put that link in the chat too. It's not, you can do a few for free. It's not totally free, but it's quite cheap. And what's another one? Breakout clips. Just to get little video animations that you can like put your, like in videos, you can put your logo into, it's like templates though, but they're not custom animations, but you can put like your like you might have seen it, you might have seen that, I don't know if you saw the social post that I had advertising this webinar. It was like my logo, and it like kind of turned around and showed up in like a cup of coffee, like in like a cappuccino coffee thing, and it was like, join me for coffee for this webinar. And that was just that was a template made in videos.
Okay.
That's useful. Like you can customize with your logo, but then they're so fast and easy to make. You don't have to, like, getting a custom animation is great, but they're expensive. To get like an actual animator to do something fancy. So when you're trying to make a few different things, it's easier to have little tools like this. Yeah.
Good morning, Kelsey. Really appreciate the presentation. I think that's really well done. I'm wondering if there's any tricks you can suggest for setting up a YouTube channel. Is there any tricks of the trade or anything to watch out for?
Yeah, like to make it easy on yourself, to have like something set up, like just to have your station set up to make it easy, because having to set up your video setup every time might be a little bit like, you might be less likely to do it on a regular basis if it takes a lot of work to set up. So if you have your camera and you have your way, you have your nice background, and you have good lighting, that like makes it easier to actually like get into it. And then that would be a situation where I would suggest like taking the time to use a graphic or like a video editor or a professional to make you a custom intro and outro for your videos, something that's like that's consistent and branded for your business, to get like a high quality intro. Because if people see the intro and it's not real, like it kind of is the first impression, they're just like, whoa, must be good, you know. And then so that's like really to get the hook into the first 5 seconds, 10 seconds of the video. Yeah, I would suggest like spending like money or time and effort to get a good intro set up, and yeah, good quality lighting so it looks good. Depending on what your content is going to be, there's like tools like Loom is a good one for like screen capture. If you like want to do, like, for example, I use Loom, like I'll go to somebody's website and give them like for their website audit. It's like a screen captured of what's happening on my screen, but then there's this little bubble in the corner of a video of me there, my face. So then it's like personalizes it so they can see like me there talking, and I'm talking about your website, and I'm on your website, and they can see my screen and everything. And it records that as a type of video. So yeah, like that's a really cool tool for that type of situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are some really great tips. What about just setting up your account on the YouTube channel itself or on YouTube? Um,
Yes.
Anything with
So you
regards to
need
the
a
structure? How do you advertise it? How do you get it linked and that sort of thing?
yeah. So you need a Google account to make a YouTube channel, and so getting a Google account that's like specific for your business, not just like your personal one. Use like your business Google account. You probably have your Google My Business profile attached to that already. And so they'll probably like your business Google My Business account and your YouTube channel will be linked on the same Google account. And then customizing your channel, like there's the channel art at the top is like this long, narrow banner graphic. So I would get like that, like professionally or like somehow custom graphic designed so that your banner art is specific. And like for all of the social media platforms, like have it made specifically for that platform. Like Facebook's cover image is a different size than Google My Business, different size than LinkedIn, it's different size than YouTube channel. So getting a cover art that's optimized for the size specific to the platform that you're going to use it for will make a big difference, making it look nice. And then the other thing to upgrade would be your thumbnail art. So when that's like in your video gallery, when all your images or when all your videos are just there, they, like on the pause, like they're not playing, they're just like the pictures of the videos, that image, you can select that image customly, or you can upload a custom image to be that thumbnail. So when people are scrolling through, they can kind of see what the image is about. Like maybe like an important feature of that video is like in a text on the thumbnail, or some like eye-catching graphic for that thumbnail that's not just like a picture of you like mid-sentence with an open mouth paused at like some random portion of your video type of thing. So then your gallery looks really nice too. And then making sure that your description underneath of your video has your keywords in it and your contact information. So this is a great spot to put your website and all of your keywords and your contact information, since Google is owned by YouTube, or no, YouTube is owned by Google. Putting stuff in your description is like submitting your keywords directly to Google. Google will always prioritize their own company first, like they're a private company, so they like YouTube channels and YouTube keywords will always be a priority over others because they own it. So it's like a really good chance to like basically submit your keywords directly to Google, which is another reason why I always say to use the Google My Business posting platform. Like they have social hosting in Google My Business, which is like ends up being on the sidebar of your Google search listing. And like using the Google platforms definitely helps with your search engine optimization because Google like will prioritize itself. Yeah, and then you can use the other platforms like Facebook or the other platforms to like to draw attention towards your YouTube channel. New video posted on my YouTube channel. Use your Instagram and like generate, like put like a clip of your YouTube video and say the full video is on my YouTube channel and linking towards that. And then it definitely used your website, because you can, like when you want to put videos on your website, you would have them in YouTube and then just embed it into your website. So then you can generate traffic to your website and people can watch your YouTube videos directly from your website.
It's excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anybody else? Any more questions about anything really? Or want to talk about something? You can ask more questions, Evan, even though you're the main question asker. Okay.
I think I ran out for now.
Well, sounds good.
Any other tips, Kelsey?
Good morning.
Oh, go ahead, Lindsay.
Hey, Lindsay.
Hi, sorry, I'm in Alberta and I forgot about the time difference, so I'm tuning in late.
That's okay. We're just in question period. If you have any questions, we can talk about that. What were you going to ask, Kevin?
Sorry, yeah. I'm just wondering if you had any of the tips of things to avoid. One of the things I think about is certainly having some consistency in the brand and communication that you're trying to put out there. But certainly as you go to different platforms, or if you're using multiple platforms, it can be probably a challenge to keep good consistency of the message you're sending out there.
Yeah, like things to avoid would just be like things that are like really not appropriate for that type of channel. I think keeping in mind what the content, what the people are, what the mindset of the people on the content on the channel are at the time when they're searching. Like, what are people actually doing when they're on Facebook? Like, what do they actually want? Like, they're probably looking at pictures of their friends and they want to see pictures of babies and like things like that, funny stuff, or like really more social is like kind of their most primary mindset. And then the other stuff that kind of comes in of the brands and the other things are kind of like this accessory type of stuff that they run into. But like the more you can fit into the ideal content for that platform, the better it'll perform organically. So yeah, like being professional on LinkedIn, being more casual on Facebook, focusing more specifically on like high quality pictures and things on Instagram will just like inherently perform better. And you can start to see those things once you start posting on the different platforms. You'll notice which stuff performs better on which platform, and then once you see what's working well where, then you kind of know which direction to go in more. So
yeah, I can certainly appreciate that point. I think you're exactly right. So it is, you probably should avoid using or just replicating content on all different, on a number of different platforms. I mean, you should try to somewhat customize it to the audience you expect is using that particular platform.
Yeah, or like even just more like the blatancy of the, like for example, using a whole batch of 30 hashtags in a brick on Facebook would be like, using hashtags like that on Facebook are kind of, can be seen as more spammy. Mm-hmm. But whereas like having that on the bottom of your caption on Instagram is totally normal. So like even if you're using a posting tool like that will, like a posting tool that will like, maybe I'll take this off, that will like post across multiple platforms for you, you can still customize a little bit, like at least like change the caption so that there's not like a big pile of hashtags there, search it like, or yeah, so like it kind of trying to customize your content for the platform would be good. But like all of them will take like a really high quality image or video, like that can be universal across. It's more maybe about the way that the caption is written and like the length of the caption and like the length of the video, whereas like Instagram will only take a 1-minute video unless you're in the vertical video, now I'm totally spacing on the video like where the long form video is on Instagram, that those are all in vertical videos, right? So if you try and put like a horizontal video in there, it won't quite look the same. And especially, so then like some of the things will be cut off because the sides will be cut off. So then it won't quite look quite right. So on Instagram, you'd want to like post it into like a 1-minute square. So crop something into a 1-minute square for Instagram specifically. Whereas Facebook will perform best if you use 3 to 5-minute videos. Whereas YouTube wants a 10-minute video. So like trying to be optimal for the type of platform that you're using. And but you can multi-purpose your content. So say your primary thing is a YouTube channel, like we were talking about. So you want to use like a 10-minute, 20-minute, or like a longer type of video on YouTube. But then you can take that video and just like have like a highlights reel, like something like a trailer, like kind of like the important clips cut down into 1 minute into a square shape and put that on Instagram. And that one you could even use that same thing on Facebook too. But if you wanted to like go one step further to do that, you can make like a 3-minute version for Facebook. You can have a 1-minute version for Instagram. And then, yeah. And then you could always try and post them both in both places, but then you'll see that one of them is working better. Sometimes it's hard though to like make like 5 different versions of the same video. But if you have a video editor that you're working with, you can make one video and just say like one video is 10 minutes, then make like a 1-minute version, make a 3-minute version, and just like make them, and then just get that all set up right at the time of the video editing process. And so it'll be easier at that point.
Kelsey, you might have covered this, but I had a question about whether when you post more often, it gets annoying to people, or if it actually generates more interest. Like, for instance, for a while, I was just like, I'll just post once a week and just show up on people's feeds every so often, just so that they know my name but aren't annoyed with always seeing me on their feed. But last week I posted every day and I was getting way more likes, way more comments. So is that a thing?
It's a thing, but when in the frequency that you're talking about, not quite. Like once a day is great. I would recommend once a day for sure to people if you can generate something that you consider high quality content. So definitely quality over quantity, but most people have the time to make one high quality post per day. And it might take like a half an hour or an hour to actually like get together one high quality post. But yeah, once a day, if it's high quality, isn't annoying, especially if you're talking about Facebook, because you're not going to even get like all of the followers on your page. If you have like a couple thousand followers on your page, organically, if you're not sponsoring that post, there's only going to be a few hundred people that will organically see it, and then more people will see it if people are liking and commenting on it. But so I would say if you can come up with high quality posts that are once a day, and you want to do that organically without sponsoring your posts, that's great. If you think you can only come up with once a week a high quality post, then I would encourage you to like sponsor the post, put some money behind it so that actually a reasonable amount of people will see it. And you can then like the reach will be big enough to make an actual impact. But like once a week in just an organic post is like not really enough for enough people to see it, like especially not into the category of getting annoying. If you're talking about like 3 to 5 posts per day on Facebook, that's kind of, if you're putting 5 posts a day on Facebook, chances are they're not that high of quality. And that's where you'll get into like the realm of being annoying. Okay. And you'll start to see it, the engagement dropping off and the reach even dropping off, and people will start like unfollowing it, and it'll go down instead of up. Yeah. But yeah, at one a day, there's nothing to worry about there. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm always here if you guys have any questions later that I think of later. You can just message me, or I'm on Facebook. I'm on all of them. So.
Is the first hour of your presentation available for me to watch later?
Yeah, there's a recording going to be on the Community Futures site.
Okay, great.
And I'm doing this presentation again on Thursday at 9 a.m. on Thursday. So you can always come back again on Thursday if you wanted to. Bria must have unmuted. I hear her hiring to beep.
Yeah, I will be sending the recorded session to all the participants who registered. And yes, there is one more session with Kelsey this Thursday at 9 a.m. The content will be the same. The presenter will be the same. It's just the audience will change. If you guys are interested, you can just drop me an email. I believe you should have my email address, and then we can put you on list for the Thursday's event. And I will even share Kelsey's contact details if at all you guys want to touch base with her on a one-to-one basis. Please feel free to do that. She's of great help.
Yeah.
Okay, if there are no more questions, we can bring the session to an end. Just rechecking if there are any questions with any of the participants. We could still wait another hour into questions. We have booked a 2-hour session, but if there's nothing, then we can bring the session to an end. Okay, so the chat room looks quiet. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining today. Really appreciate your time, and apologies for changing the meeting links at the right moment when you started the meeting. Really sorry about that. But I will do share this recording to each one of you. And if you have any questions or if you're interested in any other sessions we are hosting, please feel free to reach out to me. And thank you so much, Kelsey, for taking this session up. This is a very interesting topic, and if a conversation starts on this, it can go for a day because it's so vast and it's so new, and everybody will have a lot of questions to ask on this topic. So yeah, hopefully if I receive any questions from the participants, I will do direct it towards you.
Okay, great. Thank you guys for coming.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.